Hello ladies and gents, welcome to a new night point of view review. In front of us is the new DS7. It's a facelift of the DS7 Cross. So let's unlock it. You can see the beautiful looking daytime running lights that are redesigned, and you have the main pixel LED headlights. Now we also have little puddle lights on the side. So we have here a beautiful French avant-garde design. This is a premium SUV. It's kind of slightly stepping towards the luxury design wise, and we're sitting on 19-inch alloys, winter tires, and I love the DS7. It kind of reminds me design wise also of the Audi Q7, but tell me in the comments what do you think about that. Beautiful, gorgeous LED taillights. If we hold the unlock button for the cargo, we can open it up. 555 liters of cargo space. It is very big and spacious. You can press here to lock it up. Now let's jump inside, and I'm going to tell you the spec of the engine we have. So it is a E10s. You might have noticed on the back of the car, maybe not. So we have a E10s base model. So this is the plug-in hybrid with 225 horsepower. This is of course system power. So let me buckle up, safety first. Now, as I've mentioned, plug-in hybrid. So there is a 1.5 petrol engine, 4-cylinder, only with 130 horsepower, which is kind of underpowered for the size of an SUV. But we also have a, let me just turn it on. Easy entry. So we also have this model. This is the first plug-in hybrid with 225 horsepower, and this is a front-wheel drive. Now there's also two stronger versions. The first one is 300 horsepower all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid, and 360 horsepower also all-wheel drive plug-in hybrid. We have an 8-speed automatic in all cars, standard. And let's talk about the interior just for a bit. So lights on, you can see gorgeous DS. I love when I first saw the DS when they were still under, you know, Citroën. I love the design of the DS4. Hopefully I'm gonna get a new DS4 on a test as well, so I started with a DS7. Beautiful interior design, beautiful. Also everything is soft touch. Excellent closing sound of the doors, really nice and soft and really quiet. So everything is designed very high quality finish. Also design details are amazing. Now before we head out, I want to show you this. We have a nice clock that's illuminated, kind of Mercedes-Benz kind of lost that, but it's a cool detail. And this infotainment unit is now really fast. Before previous unit was kind of slow. Now Apple Carplay works wirelessly, but first time you need to connect it via USB. Just to show you here, so I hope the camera is not fighting, that's why I left the lights on. You can see it's fairly fast. You know, you have here Waze and so on, but you can have that as an option. But I'm gonna focus on the, you know, embedded, due to the fact that the people who are driving this car, this is a press car, they're never charging the car. Plus they didn't add the AC charging cable that's for public charging stations. My regular audience might notice I'm using a different route, so I just wanted to test something new. Only the beginning part, because there's a better illumination here, but we also have here speed bumps and so on. It's a neighboring neighborhood, so it's just like really not that far. Once we get to the traffic light to get to the avenue, you're gonna realize it's the same place. Okay, so I did use my cable from my Tesla to charge this car. So also, before I start summoning all of the impressions here, I need to emphasize for everyone who's watching and planning of maybe getting this car or any other plug-in hybrid, you have to charge the car every night. That is the purpose of this car. That is the whole point. that you drive electric through the city, possibly on the highways, short journeys. But if you don't, then you're defeating the purpose of this car. Then you're driving dragging an empty battery that's heavy. You have a smaller fuel tank capacity, and you have terrible consumption because, you know, especially if you charge the battery with a petrol motor, there's that option as well. So have in mind, plug-in hybrids needs to be charged every night. So if you don't have a charger at work, at home, don't buy a plug-in hybrid. You're gonna regret it. It's mostly same with the electric cars as well. Now, with that out of the way, we can start talking about this car. 225 horsepower is pretty good, even if you're relying only on petrol. 180 horsepower is also quite enough for this SUV size. Now, the car is tall. It is fairly comfortable on the speed bumps, potholes, manholes, and so on. But you can see here now we're coming to the same traffic light I usually exit for my regular audience. So enough horsepower system-wise, and you know, petrol, you're gonna see now when I speed up very fast. Now, 8-speed automatic, there's a lot of gears, so you're gonna feel the car always, you know, the shifts are gentle more or less, but when it switches in hybrid mode, I was driving electric. Now when you see speedo being blue, then it's electric. When it's white, then it's on petrol. So I'm gonna switch here to a hybrid. Now in hybrid, the car is gonna figure out when it wants to use the electric and the petrol, but I really dislike the fact when car engages the petrol engine, sometimes it shakes the whole car. It's not a big shake, but it definitely, you can feel it, and it's a little bit annoying. And then when you're driving on petrol, man, it just, the whole car jumps, it leans forward when you're braking. It's just, I don't know, it doesn't feel the best. And this is not an issue just with this car. This was in general in the PSA group with plug-in hybrids, because there's a lot of power, and then the engine kicks on and wants to jump forward because it needs to, it's not starting from 0, it's starting from maybe, I don't know, 60 kilometers per hour. It just turns on and then it needs to jump into high gear, spin fast, and it just wants to pull. So, you know, driving won't be always very smooth if you're using the petrol, but if you're using electric, it's just nice and smooth, instant acceleration. But you have to have in mind that you need to be very gentle with instant acceleration, simply due to the fact that if you're aggressive, you're gonna deplete the battery really fast. Now, also cool feature that you should use in this car is the recuperation. So there's a B mode for braking. So when you let go of the acceleration, the car coasts and it is slightly recuperating. But if you pull the lever for the automatic towards yourself, it engages full recuperation. So you can almost drive the car one pedal. But you can simply do the fact that the car is a classical automatic and wants to go forward, so it won't completely stop when you let go of the acceleration, of the acceleration pedal or the gas pedal. And on the traffic light, as I've mentioned, you need to use the electronic parking brake because it doesn't have auto hold. It wants to go forward. Now, regarding the brakes, they're not super aggressive. They are enough, so they're not oversensitive. When you touch them, they're not gonna start braking immediately. But when you apply a little bit, they start working, of course. Now, excellent tall sitting position. You can see the hood, good overview, but the car is a little bit tall, so if you're fast in the bends, there will be a lot of leaning. Car is tall, so be gentle. And overview in the car is excellent. You have a good overview for the side mirrors, in front of you, behind you, in the middle mirror, so it's quite nice. And if you drive this car gently, it'll be a pleasant drive. You can drive it a little bit more aggressive, but then the acceleration, the front hood just jumps up, and then when you're braking, it dies down. So I don't like that personally. But have in mind, I'm driving a Tesla, so I'm heavier and just glued to the ground. So that might be the case for my personal preference here. So you can see here, I'm here and I need to hold the brake, otherwise the car wants to go forward. So engage the parking brake. You need to wait for the light to come on, then you can release it and then it stops. When you press acceleration, it just disengages it automatically. Now also soundproof. So this the DS7 has double glazed front windshield and double glazed front and rear windows. I'm not sure about the third window on the C-pillar, but the ones surrounding you on the front are. So this is a good in winter when you're heating up the interior. The double glass is going to be also like an insulation, so it won't condensate, it won't be foggy, so you can see outside, but it also dampens the sound, and they really did a good closing sound of this. And the soundproof is quite excellent, but only surprisingly on lower speeds. I don't understand this, how it's so quiet on lower speeds, but then when you hit 130 on the highway, we're going to the highway right now, and when you go above that towards 150, there's so much wind noise. There's even a whistling sound. Okay, today was super windy as well. So soundproof in the cabin, you're gonna hear it a little bit later, a few minutes, a bit noisier on the higher speeds. But then again, this is the natural thing with a tall and boxy shaped car, or SUV in this case. So I'm kind of confused that with all this double windows and all, it's simply so hard to make a really nice and quiet cabin. It's not like they didn't try, but it's hard. So if you sit in a car who is really good has a good soundproof in the cabin, you should appreciate that. Seats, a very comfortable, nice and wide, have lumbar support. I think in the higher packages, like in the Louvre, you get the massage option as well, so that's pretty cool as well. Now I did review this car in Paris. There's going to be a separate review of this car in Zagreb, and also I didn't play the sound here, but now the sound is actually pretty good for basic speakers. I'm gonna play just a little bit as soon as we stop, so I don't want you hearing the tires and at the same time and the sound. So let me just try to play some music here before the traffic light changes. Okay. I can't play for too long, but I can talk a little bit. You can hear it's so good. So I need to mute it not to get a copyright strike, but these bass speakers are so good. I know there's upgraded speakers that have aluminum finish, so these don't. They're made of plastic, but the design of the speakers, of where the speaker is so good looking, and it's just showing to the rest of the car industry that something could be plastic, but if you make it good, if the finish quality is good, design wise and material wise, so it doesn't matter if it's plastic, it looks good and the sound is good. So it's just really a mind blow how much DS engineers put it, how much of effort and in all the details they've put inside. But also that kind of dazzles me, like this for the volume, it's a little bit far, and then the capacitive touch button's not a huge fan of that. The hazard button is a physical button. Okay, you have the steering wheel here, but I prefer some sort of roller. So, you know, it's not all ideal, but most of the stuff is good. And I'm not sure why they left this lever here. The rest of the models are getting in the PSA group that's new small, so it kind of clears the space, but again, you know, I don't mind it that much. Yeah, these headlights are definitely, I think, too strong. Let me just see here if I'm... No, actually the long beam is not on, but yeah, I just thought it was on. I guess it's automatic. Okay, I'll be a little bit quiet here when we speed up to the highway. I'm gonna switch to sport. You can instantly feel the car is a little bit pulling more. All the way. Now, that's a nice pull. So, switching back to hybrid. So let's get to 100. So you can drive electric up to 135. Let me engage the cruise control. So it's correcting my lanes. We're just freaking yeah, why is it not engaging the cruise control? Oh, wrong one. Now it's engaged. There we go. There's a speed limiter in the cruise control as well. Okay, 100 kilometers per hour. This is the wind noise. Exceptional. Mostly tire noise. The tarmac here is a little bit rougher. But if we speed up to 130, yeah, I'm holding it. Slight wind noise, still acceptable, but if you speed up to 150 and you're not in sport where you can hear the noisy petrol engine, in that case it is, you know, a bit noisy in the cabin. Let me just speed up to 150 real quick. By the way, the LED headlights are amazing in person. So we're not going to speed, although Croatians like to do that. Yeah, so you hear the wind noise. So to show you here, we have different visualization here in the digital cockpit. So we have the lanes, we have the navigation as well. You can see the navi inside, and you're gonna see here we have the personalized with the consumption. So I reset my consumption before I started. So we have the 3.1 liters. Mostly of that is now we're on the highway. Actually, I didn't realize I was going that slow. And let me just press here to the second one, 8.1. So this is when I picked up the car. It's kind of lowering, but it was pretty high. And minimum display, here you have that. I think it's maybe too minimal. And here you can see the energy flow. So you can also get the energy flow here. If you go to this one, you can see a better picture here. So when I let go, it's feeding the battery. Don't worry, there's no one behind me. And when I'm accelerating, it is, you know, using the juice to power the car. But there's a thing called e-save. You can turn it on, and then if you watch the energy flow, it's now using the petrol to charge the battery here, and you can see that. So, but I'm gonna turn that off because it's, you know, just increasing the fuel consumption, but I have the battery charged. And here you can see statistics, blue and green. Green is a recuperation, blue is energy used, and the white is petrol. So you can see the 3.5 liters power consumption, and fuel consumption, and the power consumption is 16.4. And this is me being gentle, you know. Yeah. Now let me switch back here to the oh, we have a night vision. I didn't show you that, so it's also a cool feature. Now now you always have night vision warning. So if there's pedestrians walking on the side of the road on your right, it's going to mark them, and it's going to, on the right side, display a small you know, projection of night vision, just to warn you that there are you know, pedestrians. So, you know, our car also warns you there's other cars that are too close to you. You can see that car. You can see how warm or white is the bottom where the exhaust is. That's actually quite interesting as well. That's quite interesting. I never actually you know, paid attention to this system when driving. I've tested it in a few cars. I like this display maybe the most. Okay, I need to find a con because it can be all perfect. Of course, that's life. So the panel roof is not an option I would choose, simply due to the fact that on the front sometimes you're going to touch slightly the edge, but on the rear even the average person is going to have an issue because it is touching the edge. So, you know, it's a lack of headspace. Otherwise there's good room on the back. And now this car has 0 to 100 in 8.9 seconds, so that's really not that fast or fun, so I'm not gonna test it. And also there's a car behind me. The point of this car is not speeding and not the power, it's just like comfortable driving, comfortable overtaking, and this is what it gives you. Now, no cornering fog lights, unfortunately. When you turn on the fog lights, they're kind of integrated in, oh, look at that. Did you see how the beam spread? I didn't notice that before in the city. That's pretty good. And it shrinks down. It's pretty nice. So the fog lights, when you switch them on, you switch both front and rear. That's what I wanted to say. This is GoPro 9. I'm gonna switch to the newest iPhone 14 Pro so you can see how this looks better in person. So this is how it looks in person, and long beam. It's flashing on camera, but it's not flashing in person. So these are fog lights. Kind of shoots really high, and fog lights off, and then this is the long beam. And then we're gonna accelerate, so you're gonna see the beam spread. There we go. And then we deaccelerate. So just so you know, I did try to do a 0 to 100, but it's a little bit too early. I usually film a little bit later it's still traffic, so it's just, you know, not possible to do it in a safely manner. But yeah, it's just, as I mentioned, not really exciting. To show you the navigation a little bit, yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, that's the one. Drive. And gives you options. Yes, I'm gonna take the first one. So there you go, that's the navigation. Looks pretty nice. And then I can show you the navigation in the front screen as well. Looks pretty nice. Took them a while to add this tunnel under the roundabout. That's now has a few years. It's pretty new. Now you can see our zero emission is 68%, which is good. So our fuel consumption is dropping 2.8. And once that I didn't reset, 8.4 also dropping. So to sum up, DS7, it's an interesting SUV. It's definitely for some of those who want to stand out a little bit, be different, I would say. And you know, it's something like I would compare it to Volvo. You know, Volvo is not a flashy like, you know, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Audi. So DS is for those who are, you know, more artistic. Maybe they want to, you know, be a little different. Yeah, you can see that night vision is showing the scooter on the front, or the motorcycle. So also shows you that for the pedestrians. I'm glad that this has happened on the driving part, so you can see that. So yeah, definitely, you know, comfortable, almost luxurious, definitely premium and comfortable SUV. It's practical, has a lot of space, but just don't expect the pan roof if you are planning to drive taller adults or kids in the back, or maybe if you're a cab driver and you want this SUV to be your car for taxi. But yeah, maybe the critic would be regarding this car that the fact that you only have plug-in hybrids and people tend not to charge them, and that's, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, defeating the purpose of this type of vehicle. But if you are charging this car, you're gonna have a really small fuel consumption. If you're a gentle driver, you're gonna enjoy the comfort and the, you know, benefits of both worlds. You won't have range anxiety, but you will drive and enjoy the electric drive, the instant acceleration, the smooth acceleration. And then occasionally, if you want to, you know, you can always switch to sport. You can hear the petrol and, you know, feel also that raw power of the, you know, thermic engine. That's what they call them these days in the press events. They call them thermic engines, not fossil, not, you know, they don't use petrol. They just say, you know, it's a thermic engine. That's their general term. Also, maybe I would personally maybe spec the light interior in this case, because it just feels a little bit more luxurious. And the higher packages have ambient lights. This lacks that, so it's kind of a bummer. Also, you can see that navigation shows up in the cockpit as well, to show you your turn in case you have something else here. So that's pretty sweet as well. I've disengaged the voice navigation because sometimes it's slightly annoying. So yeah, for the regular audience, I'm early now, so the lights in the garage are on. See, I was looking for the window control, but it is in the middle, not on the doors. Let me just leave this there's music. So, but there's also the pedestrian warning system when you're going forward and when you're reversing. Now you can see there's a charging station here, but I really don't need one. There's a Tesla charging here, Model 3 standard range plus. I have a long range. Yeah, I think I can park here maybe. Let me see. Actually, no, let's go forward maybe. Or is that a mistake? Okay, I'm gonna park in reverse over there. I saw a spot, so I just want you to see the car. But you can also see the parking cameras are pretty good, and the mirrors dip down. So I like this projection in my Tesla. The steering projection is really not good. You cannot rely on it. You have to always watch your mirrors. And in general, I always watch the mirrors, but this parking system is not too bad. So there we go. And you can see the camera switches, so you can see how close is the wall to your back, which is pretty cool. Press to park. Yeah, when you need to when you need to go to reverse, you need to press the shift lock, and then you just pull back for the drive. But if you want to do this, see, it's neutral. It tells you press to unlock, so you wouldn't be confused, and press to park there. Yeah, I always like to engage the parking brake as well. That was it. That's the whole experience. Hope this guy is not trying to park next to me because I'm leaving. I'm just gonna show it to the car. Leaving after this. Yeah, okay. Once again, just to cover the fuel consumption, 2.6. Now I've tested these plug-in hybrids from PSA Group. If you're really gentle, keep driving 60, 70. You can get like really small fuel consumption and power consumption. You can get it like lower than 1 liter, which is kind of insane when you think about it. But just you need to have your car charged, and even when you actually charge, the person that was driving had crazy consumption before me. You can see I actually lowered his fuel consumption as well. With one battery charge, I did 60 kilometers after the night point of view. I just kept driving, so considering I was driving a little bit on the highway, this is pretty close to the VLTP 67 kilometers that you can achieve, and it's 13 degrees outside, so pretty good considering all. And before the person who was driving, I lowered it to 7. So here's the fuel consumption. It was around 3 liters for the next 45 kilometers, and you can see that this one's also dropping. So the question is, of course, if I keep driving, would it stabilize around 3 or 4 towards 5? It's a big SUV. So just returned the car. So this is total fuel consumption when you charge the battery. So from the person that didn't charge the battery, you can see that the consumption keeps dropping, and this is maybe more realistic for this size of SUV when you charge the battery. So I'm gonna end it here. I hope you liked the review. Excellent, gorgeous looking SUV. And yeah, a little note, if you want to press the button here to open the cargo space, I think I'm too close now, so I'm not going to do that, but you need to press it twice if the ignition is on. If it's not, you need to hold the brake and then press it twice. It's going to tell you in the infotainment if you try that and it doesn't work at first. Yeah, and if you like this review, do subscribe to the channel. There's going to be, again, separated driving, no talking during the day. There's going to be separated full detailed review of the exterior interior details at day and at night, so you can see everything. So please, if you're interested in the car, check those out, share them if someone's interested as well. The DS forums. So yeah, and just to show you the car a little bit, looks really gorgeous. And I'm gonna wrap it here. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I hope I'm gonna see you in the next one. Of course, I didn't switch off the car. Tesla owner. So yeah, I completely forgot because I was driving, you know, electric cars that don't need or don't have the start stop button. So you have to hold it in. You can just press it. You need to like hold it for a second, and then it kind of switches off. So there we go. That was it. Thanks for watching. Bye.